The town of Farmington. Respecting history, planning the future.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Farmington Town Council. And Gary, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we begin the agenda tonight, I wanted to take a few moments to talk about September 11th. It happened on last Sunday, but I think it's a very important day that we should recognize here at the council. I think everyone probably can remember where they were on that day, on that morning. And I think that it's funny that the number of people I spoke to here in town and out of town, out of state, people just know where they were and they know what happened at that moment. I think it was the first time, certainly in my lifetime, that our country had been actually attacked on our own soil. We were through some wars, the Vietnam era, but never on our own soil. And I think that really brought people to realize what it meant and really to fear. I wanted to take a moment to thank the first responders that day, but also to thank all the police, all the fire, for working for days and months at that time, and just for doing what they do today in our communities. Also, all of the neighbors that help one another out that day and for days after that, just helping one another down in New York City and other places that were affected. I think it really brought out a wonderful, wonderful what people do for one another in the country that we sometimes we forget. I'd like to ask each of you to, at some point in the upcoming year, to take a moment when you see someone in uniform, whether it be in the store, whether it be at an airport, whether it be on the street, but to shake their hand and to say thank you. I think that's really important, and it's something we should think about more often. I'd like us to take a moment just to bow our heads and to remember all of those that helped and are not here today because they tried. Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have a presentation, and I would ask Nancy Parent and Andrea Bouchard to please join me at the podium. Today, I'm very honored to have a proclamation to honor September is a National Senior Center Month, and to honor our leaders in the Senior Center. But I think a couple of things I wanted to mention that I think are really important that have happened because of Nancy Parent, because of Andrea now being involved, and all of the volunteers that help out at the Senior Center. One of the things is that it does promote the volunteerism. And it really, through the years, through Nancy Parent's work at the Senior Center and all of the events that happen, one is an intergenerational event, which has begun and she's orchestrated, where the elderly and young people come together and get to see each other, have music nights, have all kinds of events. And I think that's something in a community that we really can't say enough for and enough of, bringing people together of different ages. And I think something that happens, and you'll see that if you're at the center and read about the center, is a help of mind and body. It's just a socialization time. It's so much goes on there that actually helps seniors as well, not just medically, but things such as helping with taxes. I mean, something as necessary as that. But all different kinds of things are implemented at the senior center to help seniors in so many different ways. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm so proud to be here tonight and to be able to read this proclamation. Whereas the month of September is National Senior Center Month, and whereas this year's theme highlights the many ways individuals find balance and whole person wellness at the senior centers. The balance found at senior centers is directly connected to the whole person wellness programming that senior centers strive to achieve. And whereas the Farmington Senior Center is a focal point for our town's senior residents, and whereas the Farmington Senior Center provides a wide variety of programs to provide education, information, support, wellness, recreation, and socialization. And whereas the Farmington Senior Center provides services and programs in the 4 focus categories of the national celebration: fitness, learning, purpose, and friendship. And whereas the Farmington Senior Center is home to at least 100 citizens a day and offers over 100 programs monthly. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Farmington celebrates the Senior Center for all its diverse and varied programming as part of the Farmington Community and Recreational Services Department, and thanks the staff, volunteers, and active participants for all their good work and positive influence in the community. Dated this 19th day of September 2016 at Farmington, Connecticut, Nancy Nickerson, Chair of the Farmington Town Council. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, for your work. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we move on to D, public hearing. We have none. New items? None. Public comment. At this time, I would ask if anyone would like to address the public to please come forward to the microphone. Okay. Reading of the minutes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 12th, 2016 regular town council meeting.
Second.
Any discussion or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, reading of the communications and written appeals. Kathy?
You have in the packet some correspondence about the sewer use bill and some correspondence back and forth from the MDC.
Any questions about these?
One question on the MDC. Will that potentially inhibit any further construction going in the area of the health center for water needs?
I don't think so. I think the last letter of August 30th, we're asking for more timelines and some capital expenditures so we can have more information about it. And there is definitely more issues that have to be addressed. And until we receive that information, I think we're going to do another follow-up letter. And we definitely need clarity about, again, fire use and for water protection and their formulas. I think there's enough water. It's really about how they charge out the water to the residents, how they charge it to the town, and they also buy water from the Connecticut Water Company and their formulas. So all of that, we still haven't received enough information to put forth a final letter to them.
Okay, so it's more potentially on the selling and buying of the water to the customer versus the actual availability and service to customers or potential new customers.
Right. It's it's a combination of a few things that we've determined. One of them is that the MDC buys a significant amount of water from the Connecticut Water Company, and because they have that in reserve, and that's used for a lot of their formulas. So when development takes place in the east side of town, they're using that formula, and there's some concern about that, how that formula, and we have to try to find out more information about that. And then the other concern is the expansion and what capital projects to make sure that the MDC is on top of that so that we can have development and the different things that go along. And as you know, the MDC is guided by their own charter, and they're not by the public utilities. So we don't have any control. We do now have a non-voting member, which has been very helpful because they've been keeping us up to speed about what's been going on. But we're still trying to get some basic information, and I'll be reporting on it again.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions about any of the letters? Okay. Okay. Report of committees. Yukon, no report. Land acquisition.
Nothing new to report.
Green efforts.
Nothing to report.
Joint Town of Farmington, City of Hartford Committee. Things are moving on. The city council is going to meet now in September and act on some things that we need to wait for. And then once that happens, once their council meets, then we are going to meet again with the commission. So I'm looking forward to that. Bike Advisory Committee.
So at our September meeting, we did review a couple of streets in town where signage has been put up. Middle Road for one, Coppermine one is targeted, River Road is another. And we will continue to look at routes throughout town roads that are suitable for biking and putting up either sharrows or signs to let cars understand that those are likely biking paths.
Great, thanks. Gateway Committee.
Gateway Committee will meet this Thursday at 5 o'clock. At this particular meeting, I encourage people to come if they're interested in this. BL companies will be submitting some results of their study that they've done on the area, and I'm not quite sure what they're going to be reporting to us and how far they are in the reporting or on their study. Kathy, do you know anything what they potentially might be reporting Thursday?
The one thing that's going to be very interesting is that the marketing study is complete.
Oh, good.
So they're going to talk about what the market can bear. So that's one of the things that they're going to report on. They've also finished the environmental report, so they're going to report on that. And we're also going to talk about the Route 4 project and some of the upgrades that the town is asking for on Route 4. So it's going to be a busy meeting on Thursday night.
All right, good. So I encourage everyone to come at 5 o'clock.
Thanks. Webpage, no report. Farmington High School Renovation Committee.
So a lot is going on in the Farmington High School Renovation Committee, which is an understatement. In terms of what the committee is doing, they are running on a few parallel tracks. The members of the committee are taking a tour tomorrow of a facility in Massachusetts that was completed by our architectural firm. And they are also proceeding in the coming weeks to interview candidates to be their owner's representative for the project. And they're also reviewing applications for construction managers for the project. So that is all happening. And at the same time, the architectural firm has been holding a series of visioning workshops. And they started with educational visioning workshops. And they started with school administrators, faculty, some students, and Board of Ed members. And that was a day-long session last Friday the 9th, and there is another day-long session for that same group of people coming up on Friday, September 16th. There is also the first community visioning workshop that's going to be happening, and everybody, it's in our packets, this Saturday the 17th from 9 to noon at the community center. And that is the first opportunity for all community members to show up and give their input, give their ideas, talk about what they see in the current building, what they see for the future, and that will be facilitated again by the architect. And so this is just the beginning of the input process. I think that's it. Did I hit everything, Kathy? There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Report of the council, chair, and liaisons. I had a meeting, and Kathy and I met with our Farmington Valley Collaborative last week. And just to let you know, there was discussion from our legislative representatives there, and just talking about the talk in the state about different possibilities of regionalizing different things. That's been talked about with many of the cities and just many of the other people at the legislators, of what might happen. So we just should be aware of it and think about how that's going to affect us. Also, there was discussion about the more cuts that need to come this year, and the concern about next year and being a large deficit. So I think we just need to keep up on everything. We will as a council, and just see where we go with all of the dollars. So just kind of make sure we keep up with what's going on for Farmington. So next, Board of Ed report. I'll be doing this report. First of all, there was a good opening for the schools. It went off without a hitch, I was told, for the most part. And I particularly wanted to mention who this year, that the Teacher of the Year was Mrs. Melissa Dale, and give a little information. She's a second grade teacher and is the 2017 Farmington Teacher of the Year. She has served as a dedicated teacher in the Farmington Public Schools for 20 years, where she's taught second grade at Union School and served as a math resource teacher team leader. During her time in Farmington, she's earned the respect and admiration of her students, colleagues, school principals, and the parents of many students. And on behalf of the Town Council, I wanted to congratulate her for being chosen Teacher of the Year. And I'm sure, it's wonderful that we have her here, and hopefully she'll be here for many years to come. So congratulations, Melissa. Also, with the Board of Ed, negotiations are going on, teacher negotiations, and that's it. Unionville UVIA.
Unionville Festival is coming up on Sunday, September 25th. It runs from noon to 5 in downtown Unionville. We hope to see everybody there.
Okay, great. TPZ.
Nothing new to report from TPZ. They've been off for the month of August.
WPCA.
So we tend to talk about how in WPCA, they meet every month right after we have these committee reports. So we never get anything really substantive, which is a shame because this is, I think, the largest bond we've ever had in the town's history. It's a big deal. And so I spoke with Jim Foote and Bill Kaminsky, and they actually put something together for me to say that's a little bit substantive, but the bottom line is things are going really well. But just so people are, aware, the general contractor is C.H. Nickerson, and that contractor began work on the site in March of 2016. So the spring and summer had such great weather that the project is running absolutely on schedule. I won't say ahead of schedule, but on schedule for sure. There's a design engineering firm, Wright Pierce. They have a project representative on site daily, and town staff also monitors the construction on a daily basis. So it's well covered. They have formal progress meetings weekly, as well as monthly progress meetings with Nickerson, Wright Pierce, Connecticut Deep, and town staff. So there are no delays, no cost increases, and no problems. So it's really nice to be able to say that.
Great.
Of note is also that the town has worked with Nickerson and Wright Pierce from the beginning to find cost savings and to do as much value engineering as they can. And to date, their collaboration has resulted in approximately $500,000 in project credits. Wow. So really, really good job by all involved.
That's great. Thank you very much. EDC.
On EDC, tomorrow morning, they're sponsoring a breakfast. It's sponsored by Farmington Savings. It's a regular one of their breakfasts they do a couple times a year. It starts at 7:45 in the morning, and our meeting is right after that.
Thank you. Human Relations.
We met in August at New Horizons to discuss the reconstruction of the sidewalk near the Unionville Bridge, and the residents at New Horizons were thrilled at the condition. While we were there, it sort of turned into an impromptu forum on how things are going generally. And as I've said before, they've been very happy with the town and Matt Bloom. The one thing that came up, which was concerning, and I want to bring it up because I want the public to be aware of it and keep an eye out, is throughout the summer at lunchtime, it seems that there have been teenagers who are going to the McDonald's in Unionville, and they are kicking the button that would help people with disabilities get into the back door, And they've done it so much and they've caused such problems that McDonald's has shut that door completely. So these poor people can't use that door and have to go all the way around. So they're so frustrated and angry. And during our meeting, I forgot what police officer was there, who's great. He is, he's spoken to other police officers. We're going to try to up surveillance. If he can find someone at that time, he's going to do everything he can. We talked about outreach with the public schools. I've reached out to some of our Board of Ed members to see if we can sort of do sort of a meet and greet with people with New Horizons and the community, but I'm not sure if we're going to be touching the kids who really need to hear it. So we're going to work on it and do our best, but what I'm asking for the public is if you see anything ever, please call the police immediately, because honestly, I think maybe some of these kids need to be scared a little bit to stop it. McDonald's has been a wonderful neighbor to this town, and they would like to open that door, but it's because it's causing such problems that they've had to shut it. So I was disappointed in that because overall the town does such a beautiful job, but now that we have a problem, I have no doubt we can try to fix it.
Thanks a lot, Amy. Chamber of Commerce, there's a business after hours tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Any other liaison reports? Report of the town manager.
You have the written report in front of you. We have quite a bit on the manager's report this month. The first item is the sub-edge farm lease. That's the farm on the Fisher Farm property. Their current lease is expiring, and they have asked for a renewal. So I went, as you know, right now, the Phillips family make an annual payment of $1 to rent the house and the barn, plus 10 community-supported shares to be donated to the food pantry, valued at approximately $5,000. And the Phillips family has approached us requesting to extend the lease for a period of 5 years. The original lease was formulated to help build the business. At this time, I don't think the lease in general needs any kind of modification. One thing that I put in and gave some options that if the council would like to change the monthly rental fee. And I gave some different options for the town council to consider. It was my thought that the lease would be on the agenda for October. So this would give the council an opportunity to ask me some questions if I could answer them now or get the information to you. And I'm looking for, by the October meeting, to have some consensus so that if there's any changes in the lease, I could make them and that we could renew the lease at that time. So I don't know if you have any general comments or questions or ideas about this.
And what I wanted to mention first was we do have our September meeting, September 27th meeting, where we are going to have a couple of agenda items that are going to be informational items. And so Kathy and I have talked about today having some conversations about sub-edge. And if there's other information that we might want to gather, we could always have an item, because we don't vote on that. And on September 27th, it's not a meeting where we vote on anything, but more informational. We could certainly bring back any information then, but Kathy would certainly get it to us right away, but we could have any other discussions that you might want to do at that point, if we feel that that's necessary. So it just gives us another option, too, of timing. So, at this point, any discussion about, or what are your thoughts? Just,
I have a question.
go ahead.
You start.
Go ahead.
I'll start. From my perspective, the farm, the town purchased that farm. One of the things that went behind that purchase was the thought that the town of Farmington should have some farms, protect some farms. And we do have, through various purchases, the Hind Farm, the Krell Farm, and now the Sub-Edge Farm. And I think it's important for us as a farming community to maintain that amount of attachment to that heritage. I think another thing that we'd like to see happen with this farm, but in particular, is for it to produce products that we can eat. So we can have local food, local vegetables, in this case, organic vegetables, and I think that's a blessing for us. I think that the other thing is that not only do we have a town farm, but we have people who are in place, unpaid, who keep that farm going for us. Keep it up. So make it so as you're going down Town Farm Road, you go by a nice-looking farm. And I think that has value to it, and I think that those are the sort of things that I'm looking to get out of the sub-edge farm. It's not a moneymaker. So as far as I'm concerned, the current deal that's a minimum lease, a contribution to the food pantry is a great deal for us. And whether it becomes a 5-year lease or a 1-year lease that's being able to be renewed each year, either way, I just want to encourage them to continue on maintaining our farm and having that property continue looking the way it is. And I'll say aside, $43,000 isn't $1 million. I mean, nobody's getting rich on us. So if it gets to be $1 million, I think let's look at a lease. But right now, I think the way we manage that property in terms of a minimum monetary payment with a donation of food is a good way to go, and I would support continuing it.
I actually had sort of two questions that at the next meeting you can get answered, that would be great, and then just one general comment. And I'm not going to repeat what John said. With respect to the 10 community-supported agricultural shares, if you could find out, are they being fully given out, and we could up it up to 15 or 20? If we're using it, and if they're making $43,000 and they have a pretty good crop, if our community could use more, I'd like to find out how that all worked. Also, when this originally started, we talked about education programs they were going to do over there. If you can just get some more data about what they have done, what their game plan is moving forward, what they've done with the schools. I want to understand, as John said, and more how we are benefiting as a community. The one thing that I am not supportive of is a 5-year lease. It's just way too far. There's no reason that we can't look at this every year or every 2 years. Things change, circumstances change. We might look at a lease every year and say thumbs up, all is good, but 5 years is way too far out. I'm not comfortable. There'd be 3 councils before the next lease, and that's too far. So.
Okay.
One question I had, Kathy, maybe you can look into it, is the cell phone tower there, the revenue from that? I don't know what it is and how it gets divided or distributed.
Amy, I don't have your answer 100%, so I'm not going to answer yours,
not
but I'm
offended.
going to give that
I'm
because
not
I don't want to
offended
give
at
you
all.
complete wrong information. I have a general idea how it works.
Okay.
Peter, I do have exact
Oh.
information for the cell tower, so I can give you that just so people know. How it works is that our cell tower, we have an arrangement that the total income, 50% goes into the farm account and 50% goes into the general fund account. That number is, if I can find it, or I left it upstairs. I did leave it upstairs, but I can tell you, it was, the total amount last year was $36,000, and half of that goes into the farm account. I'm rounding up numbers.
Yeah.
So just so everybody understands, though, when we're talking the farm account, we're not talking about the sub-edge farm.
Right.
We're talking about our own fund.
Yes.
It's used
Right.
to do maintenance on the.
Yeah.
Well, I
Exactly,
think
yes, that's a good
it
point.
might be good, though, for you to explain, Kathy, what the farm account is, because there are a couple of farm accounts, and maybe if you explain,
Right.
all this information, I think, and I had questions too, which I'll ask in a minute, but the more information we have about the questions we had going from one owner to the next, so to speak, I think is important for us to have the information so we know for the public and we know to move on. So, go ahead.
So the cell tower and at the Fisher Farm, the cell tower generates income of approximately $36,000 a year. We have determined as a town that half of that income is going to go into the general fund, and you'll see that on the revenue side of the budget, and that goes into the general fund. Half of that goes particularly into our own, not the farmer's account, the town's farm account for the Fisher Farm, the sub-edge, that account. And that's used just for that farm, for general maintenance, capital improvements, things of that nature. We do also have other farm accounts for, like, when we collect money for our garden plots. There's a minimal fee for garden plots. We have lots of other farmers in town, and we charge them money to farm that. That goes into a farm account too, and that when we have to have the fields plowed, when we have to have the garden plots done, that comes out of that account, which is not being supplemented by taxpayer dollars. It's self-sufficient. So those are the different kinds of farm accounts.
All right, good.
Well, a comment and a question. I'm looking at this from a benefit to town sort of thing. And, when you turn on the TV and there's a national Triscuit commercial and it's Sub-Edge Farm eggs on it, and they say that, and they say Farmington, and then, was it yesterday or the day before? Turn on NBC Connecticut, there they are, Sub-Edge Farm, and all of the farm-to-table events that they're sourcing are restaurants that we go to here, all the way to Simsbury. Where they're bringing in James Beard award-winning chefs. I think that is bringing us amazing PR that we are not paying for, So I think my personal opinion, and I know you're not looking for consensus right now, Kathy, is just that I can't figure out what good any of these rent schemes would do for Farmington. I'm trying to find what's good policy. I'm not sure that any of these rent schemes are good for Farmington. Whereas maybe if we found a way to increase their shares to the food pantry, that's something that would be good for the farm and Farmington. And to that degree, how much, and this is the question part, how much can the food pantry handle before stuff spoils and goes to waste and isn't really wanted? And that's something I don't know, because before we write in, an enormous amount here.
And
That's why we find out.
Right, yeah, and I have to get clarity because I did ask, and they do, I don't think it's the Avon Food Pantry, it's called something different, but they do numerous different things, so I'm gonna get a whole report
Right.
on that end of it.
See if there's a need or not.
Yeah,
That's what we're looking
yeah,
for.
exactly.
Just one other thing. I think I already know the question, or answer to the question. The Avon side of the farm, Avon only charges them $1 also?
That's my understanding, yep,
Okay.
yeah.
Gary, anything?
No, thank you.
Can you, one thing I don't know about, Kathy, too much, is the affordable housing standard. And we have other properties, I think, in town that Farmington owns, and that's the way we deal with it, for rent. How does that work in town? Is it X amount of dollars, and we take care of the houses as well as someone would rent? We would, if a refrigerator goes, you take care of the refrigerator, or that kind of thing.
Right. There's a couple of different programs that we're involved in. One, it's a federal program, and you're probably familiar with it, but it's a Section 8 program. And that's a federal program, and it's based on, again, income-driven, and you pay a certain amount, and you get a standardized lease, and we make sure that they're keeping up with the lease, and that program is subsidized through the federal government. It's a Section 8 program. The town runs their own affordable housing program, and we have a handful of apartments in town that are lower income, and it's based on income. And that's an affordable housing where we take care of the appliances and things like that, and then they take care of their electricity. So we have those types of affordable housing. That's more similar to this. The town also runs a larger program. It's our co-op program for the Housing Authority. And what that program is the town owns the land that the house is on, and the homeowner owns just the house. Thus, that their mortgage is less because the value is because the town owns the land. So I think, don't quote me, but I think we have 25 or 30 homes scattered throughout town where we actually own the land underneath. So that's another type of affordable housing, which is different from this kind of a standard. But this is based on, we have some rentals and also a Section 8 program.
Those aren't farms.
No,
Right.
no, no.
No.
No,
this is-
that's
yeah.
just,
Yeah,
okay.
no.
And part of this discussion was not rent from the farm, but rent for the house.
Right.
That's what this piece was
Yes.
about, different standards
Right.
of that.
Yes.
That you do in the town.
Yes.
What we had from the beginning when we did the lease was a plan and a business plan.
Yep.
And so what I would like some information about is, we had a plan to see where they were going for the next few years. It was going to be a 3-year lease. What I'd like to know is how they did these couple of years. We see this as 2015, but where are they going? What are their thoughts for the future? Right now, we see this $43,000 income. I would assume that it's going to, and hopefully so, increase over time with more farm-to-tables, with more events like the, coming out, and just a number of things that, they've already started that are just going to compound themselves. So if we could, I would just personally like to know where they're going next, and I have, do you have an answer?
I do have just two things that I do, and I will get a full report of more extensive. But one of the things that they did share with us is that the number of CSAs, that's their business, that grown from 100 to 200 in 3 years. And Roger, who's the farmer, says they'd like to maintain it at 200 shares. That's where I don't look like they're expanding that. One of the things that is what they're doing for the future is that between grants and their own funding, they installed hoop houses / high tunnel greenhouses. They're metal hoops covered with a thin layer of plastic designed for season extensions. And the reason why they are doing this, and this is an expansion for in the future, is that these greenhouses enable them to grow and store crops in all seasons. So this winter, they are introducing a pilot winter CSA program, community supported agriculture. So they're going to try to sell vegetables and different things in the winter months too. So that's something I think where they're looking to expand their business. And also, they've been very successful on this farm-to-table dinner collaborations and farm-to-chef, and also their farm stands, and also for youth workshops and classes. But again, this is just bullet points, and I'd be more than happy to get some more information about that. But these are some of the things that they were telling me about.
Okay, great. And I have to say that I agree with Amy about the 5-year lease. That's not something I would want to do. And I'm not comparing them with the people we had there before, with our experience. You always learn from experience, and that's what we did. So, but for the future, for me personally, I'd rather not see a 5-year lease. I'd rather we continue to talk about this, whatever we decide, whether it's a year or 2 years, that we then look at it. But I just think that that's a good thing for the council and for the town to keep up with it and see where they're going, and just be able to comment about it, and maybe bring in, as the time goes on, maybe bring in more for the food pantry or more for another organization that could use it in town if it flourishes to that extent. So, and part of the moving forward, I know they now have some cattle and pigs and some, ducks and some chickens and things, and what they expect for that. I mean, how much, I don't know how much they can even handle, but where do they think that's going? So that's all I have. Anything else anybody's prompted?
So
to ask?
the issue about the length of the lease, one of the things I don't know is, are there investments they're contemplating that
Right, we
they
don't
need
know.
a certain amount of time to come to fruition? And I just, for instance, these winter greenhouses, those pipes you talked about, if they're a sort of thing, and I'm just making up numbers, it costs $100,000 and, you need 5 years to make them come to fruition, then that's an influence on the length of the lease. On the other hand, if they aren't making significant investments, that's another thing. So if you could find out from them if they're contemplating any large capital investments that would impact them.
Sure.
And I think we could see what investments need to be made, like by the town. There are things that you have to do, like we had to go in and paint and fix up the barn, and, I know there are some other things coming up in the future, the silo and different things Kathy mentioned to me about, but maybe we can have an idea of what things are kind of on the docket. A lot has been done that was done when we had to fix it up. So a lot of that, fortunately, is already done, but there will be some things in the future. So if we can just have a handle on that, and then we can get a perspective of where we're going in the money, so I think that helps us decide.
So why not, at the second September meeting, I'll give you like another manager report
Sure, yeah.
of some of this information and do that. And one of the things, though, which is I think a good thing, is that we've learned from some of our past errors, and we really have a very tight handle on what's going on at the farm, and we have a capital expenditure plan, and we've been keeping up with it, and we've been applying for, as you know, lots of different grants, and we've been getting grants. So really, over the next 4 or 5 years, we have capital expenditures, but we're not talking about capital expenditures in the $25,000, $35,000, $40,000 range. We have capital expenditures in the $5,000 or $6,000 range that are coming up because, but we also want to, again, get another long-term plan because the things we've done 5 years ago, 5 more years, 10 years, they're going to need new roofs again and different things. But we do have a very good handle on all of that now. So,
And I want to, just one thing, John,
Yeah.
I just want to commend you for doing the grants too, because that's huge for for the town. If you can get a grant so that we pay half and the grant comes in at half, I mean, it allows us to do so much more and help out, and build that farm fund for when they need something bigger. So that's all good stuff. Thank you.
Just
John?
a point of clarification, when I was talking about capital investments, I wasn't thinking about the capital investments that we might.
oh, I
make.
know, I understand.
Yeah, I know
Rather
they want
yes,
to.
They're gonna do
yeah,
it.
Yeah, I understand that, yeah. So, all right, so I'll put
Okay.
that in on the 2nd September agenda. Then the next thing, which I just thought was an interesting and great story that I got from the police department about local families supporting the Farmington Police Department in the Blue Bag Challenge. And that was 3 local families came to the Farmington Police Department after completing the Blue Bag Challenge. And I guess it was on quite a bit of momentum on social media. And that's an effort to support law enforcement, to thank them for what they do every day. It consists of a blue bag filled with items for a police officer to take on the road with them. 3 Farmington families, the Bloor family, the Tabole family, and the Rand family, took their time and personal expense to fill a bag for every Farmington police officer. They grew vegetables in the garden, sold the vegetables to raise money to pay for the contents of the bags, and 7 children ranging from ages 3 to 12 3 to 12 years old, took it upon themselves to complete this gesture of support. And each bag contained a handwritten note, and it also included the police officer's prayer. So I really thought that was a really great thing that they did. So I just wanted to make note of that for you all. So, the Hartford Temple Tours, just that the open houses will be going on September 30th through October 22nd. We've been meeting with the temple quite a bit, and as you can see, a substantial amount of work. They're really hustling to get the project completed, and you'll remember that we are having our tour on September 27th, either at 1 or 5 o'clock. So you guys have signed up for that.
So are we meeting all at the temple at the particular times?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, yeah, I think that would be great, yeah. The other thing that we've been working on is our recreation division relocating to Depot Place, and Depot Place is the old station in Unionville, and they are in the process of renovating it. When it's done, we'll have to go down and take a tour of it because they're renovating it back to the old standard, so it really is it's going to look really nice. They're going to put the old benches outside and some different things. And we're looking to put move our recreation department, which is a small department of 2 people, down at Depot Place. And then in the meantime, after they move down there, we're looking to start renovating our stone house, which is down by the golf course. And that's a beautiful old building that has had very, very limited work done to it in the last 40 years. And we have our new building maintenance person, and we are going to be tasking him to be going in. There's a really nice 3-season room that we think can be used maybe for the public. There's a community room in there, or like an office room that could be upgraded. We also have affordable housing up on top. There's 1 unit that's been used for storage. We'd like to turn that back over. Because recreation does need storage, I don't think we're going to shut down the building altogether, meaning shut down we're still going to need it for recreation purposes, for storage. But we've been really excited to work with the school system in a collaborative effort with the continuing ed and with the Excel, because we definitely think there are different programs and different things, and all being located at the same spot. I think it'll be efficient, and we can grow from there and see how we can work together. And I don't think that it's going to be much different for the public because recreation now, much of it is done online. So the walk-ins are limited. I'll be giving more information. The school was looking to have them, I think, close to September or October, having the continuing ed move out of the town hall. I don't know, I'm not a construction person, but it doesn't look like it's going to be at that time. And then we'll move recreation in sometime after that. So just wanted to give you an update on that. That's exciting. We also got some really good news, is that the never-ending PSA update, which we've been working with our ambulance and paramedic services. UConn advised us that they will be relinquishing their paramedic service voluntarily to us, and so we now have to go to the state and have them approve it, but we do not have to go to a hearing and incur those costs. So at this point in time, they've done that. We just have to get permission that the state says it's okay, and then we will be signing a contract with AMR, which you guys have already approved for me to sign. But we worked with UConn, and we are happy that they've decided that they will give us the PSA voluntarily. We are having our live fire training grand opening. Mark your calendars for Saturday, November 5th at 1 p.m. at our facility. I don't know if anyone's been by, but if you want, drive up there. The building's there. It looks great, and they're really working hard on it. So the fire people are really excited, and we're having the grand opening on November 5th, 1 o'clock. And lastly, we had our proclamation, but it is Senior Center Month, and there's a lot going on at our senior center. So it's a month-long activities that started on Thursday, September 1st, and you have the written report on that. But there's quite a bit of things going on, and just one thing is that our senior center offers 75 programs a month, and at least 100 seniors enter our building often. So it's, it's a busy place, and it is Senior Center Month. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say from this report, it just gives you an idea of what's going on in town. As much as we had a summer, Kathy really was still very busy here with everyone, with a lot of things going on. And a lot of wonderful things have come together, as you've just heard, and just a lot of great things in the town, like the Blue Bag Challenge, which I know you said that the police were very, very touched with. And but we've got a lot going on. The PSA update, that's been a long time in coming, and these things have just all been fire training. Just, there's a lot going on that the towns that you're taking care of, so thanks, Kathy.
And just that reminded me about a lot of things going on. Just October is quarterly report month,
Oh.
so next month you're going to get the big packet, and you'll get an update of all the road projects and everything that's been going on.
Now, with the Roberts thing, I was afraid to ask the question.
Yeah.
But I'll know you guys next month.
Yeah, so
It seems like things are faster than
Things have been moving
because
of the weather
weather.
and different things, yes, and no rain and a lot of
Are we
different
breaking the
things.
rules, us having this conversation?
No, you
right
can
now?
during the manager's report. But, so just to let you know that October is the big quarterly report month, so you'll get a whole update on all of
great.
that.
I think the public's very curious.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, can I have a motion for the manager's report, please?
I move to accept the September 13th, 2016 report of the town manager.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, appointments.
All right, I have a bunch. Agenda item L4, I move that Todd Langston be appointed to the Building Code Board of Appeals for the balance of a 5-year term beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2019.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Agenda item L7, I move that Tony Berlandi be appointed to the Human Relations Commission for a 2-year term beginning immediately and ending June 30th, 2018.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Agenda item L8, I move that Paul Amato be appointed to the Conservation and Inland Wetlands Commission for a 4-year term beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2020.
Second?
Oh, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Okay. Agenda item L9, I move that Mark Simpson be appointed to the Conservation and Inland Wetlands Commission for a 4-year term beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2020.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay?
Agenda item L13, I move that Dorothy Haviland. Oh, I don't have a 10.
Oh, sorry.
I do have a 10. Now I have a 10. All right, L10, I move that Augusto Russell be appointed to the Economic Development Commission for a 2-year term, beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2018.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay?
Okay, now on to L13. I move that Dorothy Haviland be appointed to the Farmington Historic District Commission for a 5-year term, beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay?
L14, I move that Holly Holden be appointed to the Farmington Historic District Commission for a 5-year term, beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Okay, item L16, I move that Sally Hatzenbuehler be appointed to the Housing Authority for a 5-year term, beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Okay, agenda item L17, I move that Cheryl Lawless be appointed to the Housing Authority. I have a date of December 30th.
No.
No,
just-
that's-
Sorry, just cross that out.
Okay. For a 5-year term, beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2021. Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay?
Okay, down to L21. I move that Paul Kraus be appointed to the Veterans Memorial Commission for a 6-year term, beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
L22, I move that Justin Bernier be appointed to the Veterans Memorial Commission for a 6-year term, beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Okay, my last one, agenda item L23. I move that Tyson Bellinger be appointed to the Veterans Memorial Commission for a 6-year term, beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Okay. We are now on to old business, and there is none. New business.
Agenda item N1, I move to authorize the town manager to execute the required documentation for the Neglected Cemetery Account Grant Program Award for the purpose of straightening and repair of memorial stones, repair fences and walls, clear weeds, briars, and bushes, leaf cleanup, and provide periodic maintenance as needed for the Scott Swamp Cemetery located at 8784 Scott Swamp Road, Route 6.
Second.
Kathy?
This is a grant, a small grant of $2,000 that is first come, first served. We've applied one other time and we did not receive it, so we're trying again this time. And this is just a motion to authorize me to accept, to sign the documentations if we get the award.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Agenda item N2, I move to award bid number 248, Fire Apparatus and Utility Vehicle Maintenance to First Line Emergency Services, 10 Progress Drive, Middletown, Connecticut, and Freightliner of Hartford, Inc., doing business as 5 Star Fire, 222 Roberts Street, East Hartford, Connecticut.
Second.
Kathy?
This bid is to contract with the private contractors to provide maintenance repair services for all apparatus and utility vehicles in the fire department. The bid makes a distinction between large vehicles, fire vehicles, and smaller ones. Staff is recommending that the large apparatus maintenance and service, the bids for both submitting vendors be accepted, so that's why we have the two. And this will allow for the flexibility in obtaining various needed services and best prices. No bids came for the small utilities, so we are going to have to rebid that again. And the award is from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2018. However, renewal for the second year is contingent on funding availability and satisfactory performance, and funds are in the fire operating budget.
Any questions for Kathy? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Okay, And 3, I move that Key Bank N.A. of Albany, New York be added to the list of depositories for town funds and investments.
Second.
Kathy?
This is, Key Bank was recently purchased by First Niagara, and, which is a depository of town funds for investment purposes. By charter, you guys have to add this to the list.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Agenda item N4, I move to approve the following property tax refunds as shown on the agenda.
Second.
I abstain from this.
Okay. He's on it.
I know, but it's
Okay.
to tell us.
Yeah.
why.
You have to tell us why.
I'm on the list.
I'm on the list.
I'm on the
okay.
list, I'm very sorry.
Now we have to let all that out.
Listen to you. Wow.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Profit.
This is our
Oh.
tax refunds, and we always have quite a bit in September when, because of the taxes are due, and so these are adjustments and overpayments and things like of that nature.
Okay. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Abstentions? You're sick. Okay. Next, a motion for executive session.
Okay, I move to adjourn to executive session to discuss matters concerning collective bargaining. Is that
Yes,
okay?
that's it.
Collective bargaining, and that attendance in the executive session shall be limited to the members of the town council and the town manager at 8:08 PM.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.